you can't be what you can't see is very important. The points that we've made today, they hone in a lot, and I hope we can sort of delve into how that looks like, what that looks like for our community, because it's very, very important to have those role models that are doing stuff. But I think equally as important, probably more importantly, is having someone that looks like you that's doing what you're doing.
100%.
So
yeah.
representation and stuff like that. I agree with you, Daps. I think the people that are online, you see people online, approach them. You see people in networking events, approach them. And I think we need to have something in place that brings people that look like each other together to be able to assist each other. Because actually, I'm looking at the UK here, right, and I'm having conversations with people, and we've got the Dean Forbes and stuff like that over here, a very successful black man doing his thing, and by kudos to him because he's done amazing, incredibly well, right?
Shout out Dean Forbes.
Yeah, shout out to Dean Forbes. For me, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, where's the middle class bourgeoisie in the UK? Like, where can we say we've got, aside from the people that we know, right? Pioneers like ourselves, like, there really isn't that sort of aspirational figure that you can look at and say, let me model him. The reason I'm saying that is when you're searching for people, they're closer than you think. And I think a lot of the time it's lost upon us by looking for these big influential figures and say that's a role model for me. But actually your role model could be a colleague of yours. Your role model could be a friend of yours. Your role model could be your sibling, your brother. How they respond to certain things. And I think it's very important that as individuals we look intrinsic to find those things anyway. But
yeah, facts.
We're speaking about self-reflection, right? There's a particular passage I wanted to read on self-reflection from this book.
What is the book again? Just to remind people.
So it is The 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. Really, really good book. I like to always go back. And one of the laws, law number 4, is the law of reflection. And it says, learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you. Follow effective action with quiet reflection. From quiet reflection will come even more effective action. So when you're able to reflect, understand where you are, it allows growth to catch up with you. Whereas when you're always on the go, you're not able to reflect and understand what can I learn from, what I've done? What do I need to alter? How do I need to maneuver? How do I need to change my direction a little bit? And being intentional with where you want to go in the future. So I think you were speaking about self-reflection, and I think that's a very important thing when it comes to purpose.
No, I like that. Stillness is key. Ryan Holiday, similar sort of message. I appreciate that because in our day-to-day we like to say take a touch when someone acts erratic.
That's a great phrase.
When someone acts erratic, take a touch. It's very important to take touches in life. Don't smash it. Don't smash a volley in at all times.
Finesse shot.
Yeah, sometimes take a touch, look around, see what's going on. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there with that quote. I think it's very, very important to be still amongst the madness.
The noise.
Still amongst the noise. Graduate yourselves where needed. Graduate your little achievements and say, do you know what, I've done this. Okay, let's
Earlier
move
you
on.
were speaking about the book by Viktor. Is it
Viktor Frankl? Viktor Frankl. So A Man's Search for Meaning. It's a 2-part book actually, and his belief is essentially predicated on saying we have a choice to learn even during the biggest madness that could happen to us in our lives. So a little bit about him: he was in a concentration camp, and then when he got out and he became a well-renowned psychologist. Psychologist, I want to say, and he actually had his own thesis called logotherapy, which is essentially just saying you can come out of certain things as long as you have the determination to to do that and make something out of yourself. And his argument was that success, like happiness, is not something that you should pursue. It's something that is ensued. So essentially, that can't be the goal, right? The things that you do, the other things that you do, will show you what your purpose is by doing those things. So like you said earlier on, finding things that you're good at, finding things that make you happy, finding your strengths and your weaknesses and all of that stuff. When you look into those things and when you're obsessed and devoted about making that important in your life, you then start to find a common ground. The Japanese call it the Ikigai, which is the point in which 3 points meet. That middle point, that sweet point there, is where you need to be. But yeah, really, really good book. I'd recommend that book. I mean, the year that I read that book, I remember going around to everyone saying that's the best book I've read this year. And Man's Search of Meaning. Yeah, definitely check it out if you've got time. But yeah, it's a really good book. Thanks for bringing that up as well, man.
Yeah, I might need to read that. I haven't got a quote from a book myself, but
What about a quote from life or a gem for the people to
I do
read?
have a Bible verse which kind of talks about I feel like it's related to purpose and it's related to what we've been talking about role models and leadership. It's from Proverbs 11:14, and it says, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in an abundance of counselors, there's safety." And I think that verse for me just says, if you ain't got mentors, good role models, like a community, we're in a mess. But if we've got an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Things are going to be calm.
And I think that's very important with leadership, and people that are in leadership positions. Having that counsel is very important. When you don't have that counsel, it's easy for you to make bad decisions. You know, when people are successful, when it gets to their head, they haven't got people to tell them.
Checks and balances.
Yeah, you ain't got people to check you.
That's funny though, because it also works at the bottom of that as well. So you speak about leaders, but also when you're on a come up, what was the one thing that sort of brought us together a couple of years ago was the accountability sessions that we'd have, right?
Counsel.
Exactly. So having counsel in saying, listen, you said you needed to do this, ensure that you're doing that. So keeping yourselves accountable. So I guess it does work in different parts of life as well. So yeah, I understand what you said about the leaders, but actually if you're on a come up as well, it's very, very important that you don't just rely on yourself to keep you in check. You have to have some people around you to ensure that, you know what, you are keeping to your word, because a man's got to have some rules. A man's got to have some rules.
Big facts.
Love that.
Yeah, man, it's been really good. It's been really good.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, the takeaways from today, it's just about, just don't be by yourself. Do seek out role models. Definitely be very self-reflective. That's so important, because if you're not thinking and you're just going out there and just doing everything, there isn't a plan. Sometimes, a lot of the times, your plan might not be fruitful. If you have that moment of introspection, reflect, talk to people, talk to someone who you view as a role model, let them highlight to you what they think you're good at, what your strengths are, where you could improve. Because it's not just telling you good things. I think that's going to give you everything you need to hopefully stay on track and have some purpose.
And use your talents. If you don't use your talents, they're gonna be buried. They're gonna be wasted.
Yeah, so
they'll be given to someone else who can use that for the good of, others, or, So you've got to use your talents. Don't bury them.
Yeah, so for me as well, it's the same as that. I think the biggest takeaway as well for me is understanding that every human, has a talent. You have something. I genuinely believe that as we come up, as we grow up, everyone has an innate talent that we either tap into or we don't tap into for various reasons. Maybe we go out in the world and then our minds get polluted and we swerve away, we sway away from what our real purpose is. But every single person has a purpose. You have to tap into that, find that purpose. There's no pressure. I know economically there's financial, there shouldn't be pressure when we're dealing with your life, right? There's enough pressure coming from outside. You don't need to heap that much pressure on yourself.
Block out the noise.
Block out the noise. Stillness is key. understand that your story is different from somebody else's, and success isn't linear for anyone. But yeah, I definitely
Just
say
on your
that.
point, yeah, when you was talking, there's so many other things that
A million other things.
started coming to my mind. You know, we were speaking about self-reflection. I think another thing that goes with self-reflection is also spending time by yourself in isolation. I think there's a point in life where there's points in life where you have to kind of isolate yourself, spend time by yourself, and not always be around a crowd to kind of figure out what you want to do and figure out yourself, right?
100%.
And it's going to be hard to do that when there's so much noise. So you have to find that place of peace. We see that multiple times with Jesus, where he goes into isolation, he goes into prayer by himself, amongst the noise, amongst his disciples. He goes by himself to pray and reflect and, you know, hear from the Father. But I think as individuals, it's important to spend time in isolation to be able to reflect as well, because you're not going to be able to self-reflect effectively.
Yeah.
In
I
a
feel like,
crowd.
yeah, it refreshes your mind and it gives you clarity. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Just to wrap it up as well in relation to that, I think we'll wrap it up with a beautiful quote that's come to mind as we're just ending that, and it's, can't remember where it's from, but it sort of goes like, would you rather be at peace with yourself but at war with the world, or at peace with the world but at war with yourself? And that's a very, very beautiful quote. I won't go into any detail. Just leave that with people, mull over it, and decide which part of the coin that you fall upon. But yeah, it's been a good one, man.
Yeah, good chatting.
Come on, been a pleasure,
Yeah.
guys. Pioneer Space.
Like and subscribe. I think it really helps us grow a network of people. We're looking to have a show come the end of the year as well, so please like and subscribe. We get people with similar mindsets, similar mind frames, people that are on a journey, all together in one room, a powerful room, just so we understand that we're all in the same sea, we're in the same ocean, just in different boats. So yeah, let's help each other. Iron sharpens iron, and we are guided to be what we can see, because that's what we're striving for. So yeah, till next time, guys.